I just wanted to speak to the mission of LLS tonight and why this organization is making a difference. First, I must give you a little bit of a background as to how I became involved in this wonderful organization. When I moved to Cumming a couple years ago for my current profession with the Chamber, I met a precious family that took me in as their own, the Westmorelands. None of us knew the impact that that relationship would have until several months later, and now years later. After building a wonderful friendship with this family for several months, as you heard in the video, John was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. And knowing that my dad was a Hodgkin's lymphoma survivor, the Westmorelands really sought advice from my family and I, and we were kind of a source of hope for them because they could share the experiences that we went through. Through John's treatment, my dad became John's cancer hero. John looked up to Mac and really loved that he could share his experience with someone who had been there and done that. While the Westmorelands were battling cancer, they were also gaining traction on a very successful fundraising campaign, which you saw, Stick It to Cancer. I joined forces with John and Tori and the rest of the Stick It to Cancer, and I like to say the rest is history. I am still involved with Stick It to Cancer, but I was again surprised by what my connections through LLS would lead me to. Although my dad was a relatively healthy 6-year-old, in December of 2010, he went into sudden renal failure. After 2 months in the hospital, countless tests later, and a mystery diagnosis, he was sent home. He then spent 4 months, still sick, visiting countless doctors with no real answers. Finally, last July, we took him to Emory to visit the Winship Cancer Institute. When we were there, we were given some pretty scary news. His cancer was back, and he was given only weeks to live. Mac is currently fighting stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma, and notice how I say he's still fighting. You see, it was because of John's uncle, Donald Hardy, the director of the Winship Cancer Institute Phase 1 clinical trials and also an LLS-funded researcher, that we found out about Dr. Moskowitz, also an LLS-funded researcher and known as the Hodgkin's lymphoma doctor in the U.S. Dr. Moskowitz led us to the drug Adcetris. Adcetris is a chemo drug that Mac is currently taking. Because of our connections with LLS, Dr. Moskowitz agreed to consult with our oncologist here, which never happens, by the way, on the options that Mac had. He recommended Adcetris, which was just approved last August by the FDA, and is the first Hodgkin's lymphoma drug approved in 30 years. In trials, this drug had 73% response, of 40% partial remission, and 32% of patients in trials had a complete remission. That was at least hope for us. LLS had a hand in getting this drug approved. Not only did LLS lead us to Mac's chemo drug, but they also had a huge hand in getting this drug delivered to Emory so quickly. You see, finding the drug was only half the battle. Actually getting the drug here to Georgia was an entirely different story. It usually takes 30 days for a new drug to be delivered to a hospital that has never administered it. But we didn't have 30 days. As I said, we only had a few weeks. LLS and their senior management, special thanks to Dick Brown, pushed to get the drug here, and with their help, Mac was receiving Adcetris within 10 days of the consult with Dr. Moskowitz. LLS also provided care and resources for my family during this time. Their patient education programs, support groups, and resource center have been priceless to my family. Although my dad's diagnosis is still scary and his road could be very long, LLS is the reason we still have hope and still have my dad today. Mac is on track to receive his 4th Adcetris treatment next Wednesday and is faring the side effects rather well. Mac is my hero, and I cannot thank LLS enough and their staff for keeping my hero here with me. The LLS mission is to cure leukemia, lymphoma, Hodgkin's disease, and myeloma, and improve the quality of life of patients and their families. They are doing this every day with every dollar we raise. Thank you.